People often has a question, how can we give money to Yeshiva? So how do you do it? You can go to our website at yeshivaetzion.com. You go to the PayPal. You can give a donation there. You can ask us questions at rabbigaon@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Now, people often ask a question, how do I become smart? How do I become spiritual? Does spirituality and smartness go hand in hand? Anything in common? And the answer is yes. 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 Of course they go hand in hand. Very difficult to find spiritual people who are dumb. How do you become smart? How do you become spiritual? You know, in order to become spiritual, you need to understand that you're not going to become spiritual because of all kind of memories inside of you, all kind of experiences that you have, all kind of things of that sort. Not at all. You're going to become spiritual when you're going to become wise. And how do you become wise? Chazal tell us, Siag lechokhma shtika. Gate for wisdom is silence. Silence is very powerful. People are very weak. And people are very shallow. And to cover up for that, they have a tendency to always talk. To always jump. To never let you finish a sentence. To keep on going and babbling and babbling and babbling. So you would be overwhelmed with the words they say, so you won't realize how dumb they are. And when you talk and you talk and you talk and you talk, you never learn. Because all you do is make noise. If you want to learn something, you need to be quiet. You need to listen to what the person is trying to teach you. When you are learning, you are the receiving part. So therefore receiving, you need to let things in. When you talk, you're letting things out. So when you're talking, you're not learning, you're just talking, you're making noise. The problem with our generation is the lack of depth that goes hand in hand with lack of spirituality. For example, we said it yesterday, how many words are you limited in Twitter? Like 140 words? 140 words. People's conversations today, and Twitter is quite big, is limited to 140 words. They say 140 words at a time, and they read 140 words at a time. WhatsApp, texting, SMS, whatever you call this. People don't have conversations anymore. And when you have a conversation, you need to understand. One time you talk, and one time you listen. One time you talk, and one time you listen. And therefore you're able to communicate better. And you're able to feel people better. And you become wiser. But when you talk and you talk and you talk, or you tweet or you tweet or you tweet, you become shallower and shallower and dumber and dumber. And by all means, never going to become spiritual. If you want to become a leader of anything, and it doesn't have to be a leader of an army or the leader of the CIA, a leader in anything, in your job, in your home, and whatever. You have to start reading. You have to read. Not only to be able to read the sports section of the New York Post. I'm talking about a book. Read books. You read books. As a kid, my imagination was going all over the world. Why? Because I used to read. And then my mind developed. But when you sit down like a I don't know what, in front of the TV like this, you're not operating your mind. You're not letting your imagination work. That's why you become dumb. And then to overcome it, to compensate for that, you talk. And that's what Chazal said, Siag lechokhma shtika. A boundary for wisdom is silence. And you're only going to become wise and spiritual when you're going to start realize that you need to let go of your ego. People, and which is very interesting, together with the shallowness and the surface that they live on, they become big with their egos. And why am I becoming big with my ego? Because I have nothing else to show for myself. So I need to boost myself up. I need to promote myself. I need to scream and yell and to say all kind of crazy things. And I need to be politically correct. And I need to accept this one to have a wow factor on anybody. And I'm going to tell you, I think men and women should go to the same bathroom. And you say, wow, and I'm a wise guy. And all these things that happen in our society. We call it liberalism, but it's really stupidity. There's no depth in our society because we don't read, because we're shallow, and because of that we're not spiritual. Our culture is a piece of plastic wrap. And don't tell me you take a book and you fall asleep. You fall asleep because you don't want to read, because you are lazy. Your brain is not used to work. You're used to sit down in front of a TV or a movie screen and watch. So you open the book, you fall asleep, you have cramps in your brain. And you're not spiritual as a result of that. And as a result of lack of spirituality, you blame God. You say God is not there. Well, He's everywhere. You just close your eyes. We in Kola, when I was in Yeshiva, we used to do Ta'anit Dibur. Ta'anit Dibur doesn't mean you don't talk at all. Ta'anit Dibur is you don't talk anything besides something that has to do with Torah. I mean, you can't learn without talking to the other person. You can't learn, You can't learn like that. Torah we used to speak. You want to talk Torah. Talking Torah has a dynamics. When you learn with a Chevruta, there's a dynamics. You're asking a kasha, he's giving a tirutz, you're asking a kasha, and goes on and on. That's why it's important to learn out loud. But Ta'anit Dibur is not talking about anything else besides Torah. No, how was your day? Ta'anit Dibur. It's very good to do so. Even if you do Ta'anit Dibur for hours, you know how difficult it is. You're going to say, argument's sake, from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, for argument's sake, I'm in Yeshiva in the morning. I'm not talking about anything besides Torah. See how difficult it is. That's why Ta'anit Dibur is the highest level of Ta'anit. And all of a sudden, you see the gates of wisdom open up to you. And you feel more spiritual. And Botai, it goes hand in hand. So what I'm going to tell you is, learn more, talk less, give up your ego, because there's nothing there altogether. Your ego is worth nothing. Your bunch of collective memories and other things that other people put into you, for yourself, there's nothing there. Once you realize that, you're going to start learning. Until that point, if you have a lot of ego, you're never going to be spiritual. If you're going to have a lot, you might run for presidency, but a spiritual, wise person, that you'll never be. Have a great day.